The tank top is one of the simplest pieces of clothing in the modern wardrobe. It's sleeveless, lightweight, and worn everywhere from gyms and beaches to fashion runways and everyday streets. But have you ever stopped to wonder why it's called a tank top? After all, it has nothing to do with military tanks, fuel tanks, or storage tanks. The name actually traces back to a surprising chapter in sports history and changing social attitudes toward clothing. Today, we're uncovering the story behind this familiar garment and the unusual origin of its name, right here on History of Simple Things. At first glance, the term tank top sounds strange. Many people assume it must be connected to armored military vehicles because that's what most of us think of when we hear the word tank. However, the clothing item existed independently of military tanks and received its name from something entirely different. To understand the connection, we need to go back more than a century to a time when organized swimming was becoming increasingly popular. During the late 19th and early 20th centuries, public swimming facilities began appearing in cities across Europe and North America. These facilities often featured large indoor pools where people could swim, compete, and socialize. Interestingly, many of these pools were commonly referred to as swimming tanks. The term sounds unusual today, but at the time it was widely used. Since these pools were essentially large tanks filled with water, the nickname made sense. As swimming became a recognized sport, athletes needed specialized clothing that allowed them to move freely through the water. Early swimwear was often heavy, restrictive, and made from materials that absorbed significant amounts of water. Over time, designers began creating more practical garments. Male swimmers frequently wore sleeveless tops paired with shorts or one-piece swimming outfits that exposed the arms and shoulders. These garments reduced drag and allowed greater freedom of movement during competitions. Because they were worn in swimming tanks, these sleeveless garments became associated with the activity itself. People began referring to them as tank suits or tank shirts. Eventually, the sleeveless upper portion became known as a tank top. In other words, the name comes from swimming tanks, not military tanks. Originally, tank tops were considered athletic garments. They were designed for swimmers and later adopted by athletes in other sports that required unrestricted arm movement. Track and field competitors, rowers, and gymnasts all found sleeveless shirts practical. As the 20th century progressed, sportswear increasingly influenced everyday fashion. Clothing that was once reserved for athletic activities gradually entered casual wardrobes. The tank top was part of this transformation. During the 1920s and 1930s, changing attitudes toward clothing made sleeveless garments more socially acceptable, especially in athletic settings. By the mid-20th century, tank tops had become common as undershirts, workout clothing, and warm weather attire. Their lightweight design made them particularly appealing in hot climates, where comfort often mattered more than formality. Like many clothing trends, the tank top received a major boost from film and popular culture. Hollywood actors frequently appeared wearing sleeveless shirts in scenes that emphasized physical strength, athleticism, or rugged masculinity. Audiences began associating the garment with confidence, action, and casual style. As movies reached millions of viewers, clothing that appeared on screen often found its way into stores and everyday fashion. The tank top gradually shed its identity as purely athletic wear and became a versatile fashion item. It could be worn at home, at the beach, during exercise, or as part of a casual outfit. Over time, both men and women adopted various versions of the garment, leading to countless styles, cuts, and designs. One interesting aspect of the tank top is that not everyone calls it by the same name. Different countries and regions have developed their own terms for similar sleeveless shirts. In some places, the garment is simply called a singlet. In others, it may be referred to as a vest, athletic shirt, or sleeveless top. These naming differences sometimes create confusion, especially when people from different countries discuss clothing. The term tank top became particularly popular in North America and eventually spread through global fashion and media. Today, it is one of the most widely recognized names for the garment, even though many people remain unaware of its connection to swimming pools. Fashion trends come and go, but the tank top has remained remarkably durable. One reason is its simplicity. The design removes sleeves while retaining the essential function of a shirt. This creates a garment that is lightweight, comfortable, and practical. For athletes, it allows unrestricted arm movement. For people in warm climates, it helps keep the body cool. For fashion enthusiasts, it offers opportunities for layering and personal expression. The basic design also adapts easily to changing trends. Tank tops can be fitted, loose, cropped, ribbed, athletic, formal, or decorative. Designers continually reinvent the garment while preserving its fundamental shape. Few clothing items have demonstrated such versatility across generations. So, why is it called a tank top? The answer has nothing to do with military vehicles. The name comes from the swimming tanks of the late 19th and early 20th centuries, where athletes wore sleeveless garments designed for comfort and freedom of movement. Those swimwear styles evolved into the casual clothing item we know today, while the name remained. The next time you see a tank top hanging in a closet or displayed in a store, you'll know that its name is actually a small piece of sporting history, a reminder of the era when swimming pools were called tanks, and athletes helped shape modern fashion. Sometimes the most ordinary items have the most unexpected stories, and this is just one more example of the hidden history behind the simple things we use every day. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.